Beautiful soul, welcome back for another video. Today I will touch on a topic which for most of you it will be uncomfortable. You don't want to go there and you're gonna say, no way I'm gonna do this. And this is sharing your deep personal stories, your deep personal wounds, if you like to call this. Stories which go beyond the surface level and they bring up so many emotions, so much dark places of your life that you don't want to even go there. But today I want to invite you to consider and share, not all of it. Obviously, there are stories which we don't want to share in public. However, I invite you to look deeper, beyond the depth, beyond the surface level, stories which go deeper in our personal life, in my personal life, in your personal life. And why I want to emphasize on this, because people, we humans in general, we have compassion. Whether you believe or not, all of us are compassionate. It's baked in us. Maybe for some people, they seem like they don't even compassionate, but they are. They're just hiding behind the surface level. And it doesn't matter which position you are in life. You can be a CEO, you can be a eight-figure business owner, you can be just starting out. But all of us has something on a deeper level, those deep personal stories, which we know if we would share, then we will move closer the people we want to serve. And I know it's not easy, and I know it's difficult. For me, it took a while to understand this and to really go beyond the surface level and to really dive deep. For example, my own personal story, as you might read my ebook I have shared, or maybe you're new to this channel or new to this whole thing, the whole world of mine. I was born in Soviet Union. I grew up in a very good family, very loving family, however, with a lot of conditioning around money, around how to behave, how to put yourself below others, because I was born in a small city, then I went to live in a capital, and I tried to fit in. I dimmed down my light to be accepted, to act like those people, to act like those kids, and follow this and follow that. And I always felt, on a deeper level, I always felt something is just not right. Of course, as a kid, when you are 10 years old, 11 years old, you cannot really put this into place, but you just feel that something is just ain't right. Maybe you have your own story where you were bullied, or you had a marriage where you were abused. I know a lot of women, I spoke with them, and the stories they tell me around husbands and family, it's just mind-blowing to me, because for me, as I grew up in a family where I had my mom and dad always together, of course nothing was everything perfect, but I always had this sense of love and connectedness within the family. And I always saw that my parents are for each other and are always, even though when they fighted, they always managed and talked through sometimes what I saw. Of course, what I didn't see, I don't know, but I felt that I had this unit where it just based on understanding, and it was no way that my dad would ever raise a hand on my mom, or my mom would cheat on my dad, or vice versa. So maybe it happened, I don't know, but I'm just sharing these stories with you that I know some of you that I spoke with have such a deep wounds, if that's the right word, that it goes beyond the surface level. And I understand it's difficult to share and you don't want to go there because it's gonna bring up so many dark moments and dark times from your life. However, when you share that period of your life on a video or in a written content, people really relate to that, because they have their own world, their own challenges, their own problems they're going through, and they feel while they're watching your video or while they were reading your story that oh, I'm not alone. Oh, this person is going through this, so it's okay to feel this because I'm not alone in this. And obviously, when you start your own business or you're working in a job, you can feel disconnected from your coworkers, from your colleagues, or when you shift to your own business, it can be very lonely. And it takes time to find those people who you can talk with and you can be around with. But all these stories which you have deep within, when you reach a point when you start to share them, things gonna shift. And it won't come on your first day, maybe years after. For me, it took me 6 years, 5 to 6 years, even 7, to start to talk about deeper level stories. As I shared with you, my own family, the way I grew up, the way I was brought up, that you have to fit in, you have to follow orders, and just basically dim my voice, which was another theme in my family, that shut up, and because you don't have a word to say, because you haven't achieved anything. So they tied your worth into achievement, into something that you achieved, so you have the right to speak now, or put something down on the table and then you can speak, and then you can have a voice, which is a common thing, especially in Eastern Europe, where I come from, or even in other parts of the world. It doesn't matter which country it is, but especially in Eastern Europe, those themes were very common. And yet, here I am speaking to this camera and sharing my content through social media and putting my voice out there and really embracing my voice to speak about this. And it's not easy. It's never easy to turn on this camera and speak. Trust me, no matter how many videos you make, you're always gonna have this feeling of, oh, shall I share this, or shall I even go there? Who is gonna listen to this? But trust me, some people will listen to this. Same for you. You are listening to me for a good reason, because you feel that something is connected. Maybe you cannot understand what's connected, but something is connected. And this is essence. This is the deep spiritual, let's call it spiritual, but it's not spiritual, it's just the depth of you, of your essence. Because I know spirituality, when I say spiritual, it can go to New Age, the New Earth, and everything is perfect, and we come into this New Earth, which I'm not into those. We are souls, we are here because we choose to be here, and our job is to remember our essence, our signature of what we are and who we are as almighty divine beings, the ultimate soul, right? And the things we go through in life, those deep moments, as I said, maybe you're in a relationship which is hindering you, you got abused verbally, maybe even physically, your relationship with your family, with one of your parents is not that good. For example, in my case, me and my dad, our relationship is very bumpy, especially when my mom passed away. It was a period when it was good, and then 2 more family members passed away, and after that things just shifted. And I really got to know my dad in a closer level, how he is. Because when I was a kid, I always avoided him because he was always strict. As he grew up in Soviet Union, you cannot just approach him anytime to talk through stuff because he's very closed. He's very introvert. Me too, I'm very introvert. However, I have both sides. I'm an introvert and an extrovert. You cannot just approach my dad and just talk to him anytime you want. And he was always very strict with me, and I always had this distance from him. I always felt not understood by him. Even today, he's not getting my word, what we are doing, me and my wife, and that's okay. I always think of this, and it always comes up as a theme in me because I live far from my father. He's in Hungary, he's in Europe, I'm in Japan, and this is the other part of the world. The distance is so big. And I realized distance is good. It might sound harsh, but distance is actually good. To have your own life, you are in a totally different part of the world, and you don't deal with those stuff where you are together with your parent, because family, your parent can bring the most shadows or the most wounds out of you, and you have to navigate through those moments. If you're willing to go there and share, I mean, I've shared some of my relationship challenges regards to my dad previously, but it's time for me to share again and to paint a picture of, hey, I go through this, I went through this, now I share, so people will get the courage and inspiration to share some of their wounds and some of their depth of what they're going through. When you're sharing a personal story or any depth of you, of your beingness, it's gonna be always difficult, never will be comfortable to share. As I said, you don't have to share everything. You're always gonna feel what to share and in which way and which format to share. However, when you decide to share, it's gonna give you a release and a relief of, oh yeah, I shared this, and maybe you don't get any responses or people just don't care because people just scrolling on social media. They don't create on social media, they consume, most of them, so they don't really care. But you never know, maybe that one person will care and he will stop or she will stop and read or watch that video you put out. Then it's already a frequency, a resonance, and energy which connected you to that person. I really encourage you to share, start to share more and more as the time goes by and you create content and you put yourself out there or make yourself available, as I like to call this, because people will hear you and people will respond. Maybe not instantly, however, after a few weeks, a few months, or after some time, people will relate to you because they will feel the connection between you and them of what you are sharing. This is very powerful because that's how you bring people into your world closer and closer, because they will realize you are just like them. It's no different than people who already achieved financial success but yet struggle in relationship, in health, in their own beingness. And this took me so much time to understand that I thought money just gonna just put everything in place. I'm not at the seven-figure mark yet, nor at the six-figure mark yet. However, I know because your beingness is what you're gonna take to six figures, to seven figures, 10 figures, you name it. It's never gonna change. Like you, it's you. Of course, you develop, and throughout your journey, you become a different person. However, your core, your essence it never changes. It's the soul. It's one core essence, and that's it. It's your own signature. So if you don't resolve these issues now, when you are just starting out, or whether you started out and you started to make some progress, or maybe you are successful, that beingness will never go away, right? And you have to understand this. That's why if you start early to share your personal story and really go beyond the surface and dare to share those moments of your life which you don't like, that's when things will change. That's where you're gonna get people closer to your world and help them with your guidance or with the work what you do. For instance, in my case, I have people to get back to the essence through a safe space. I open them a safe space so their essence, their own soul signature can emerge. How it emerges, I don't know. I don't have a script for that. But what I know, through a safe space, it just emerges because you feel understood, you feel safe, so you start to share, and this is you, this is the content, this is your beingness, which is gonna emerge from those spaces, and it's beautiful. I just really encourage you to step into the depth of your past, your beingness, and share, and take that first leap to share, because trust me, someone need that word. Someone need that sentence or that video or that short or whatever you put out there. Someone will need to hear this. My container opens tomorrow, May 15th. If you're interested, I'm gonna put a link down below in this video. You can check it out if you feel like to work with me on one-on-one to see how it feels to have a safe space where your essence can emerge. Just check out the link, you can fill up the form, and I will reach out to you. I know I covered a lot, and my offer, because why not? If you are listening and if you feel called to experience a safe space, then might be I'm the one might be who can help you to guide you through to that safe space, because I know how it feels and what it takes for your essence to emerge. Because people who is being through my container, they are getting back to their essence, and it's so beautiful to see how they are getting back to their own core, their own essence, their own self-empowerment, and the soul is getting in and the mind is going out, if it's the right word. So with all that said, I wish you a great day wherever you are in the world. Write a comment down below what you think, what I have shared, and I see you in the next one.